Hey everybody, Earth the Hurt here, back with another Overwatch video. In today's video, what I'm going to try to do is quickly take you through all the new updates in the latest patch. I touched on it in my last video talking about one aspect of those changes, which is the new looking for group tool, which again, you know, if you look back at what I said in that video, I think it's a great tool and it's going to have a really positive impact on the game and the community going forward. I'll get into a little bit more of that later. I'll also talk a little bit about the endorsement systems, some of the changes to the career profile, and then some of the in-game changes, and I'll probably quickly go over some of the character changes as well. Some folks have been nerfed. There's been some pretty major changes to Symetra, and so on. But let's get right into it and start out with the looking for group tool. So what you're going to see here, you click this yellow button up here. You're going to go into the find a group tool, and again, I covered this in a previous video a little bit, but I do want to briefly go over it again. Here in this column, you're going to see the name of the group, which is something that whoever creates the group can change. You're going to see the name of the creator here. You're going to see what type of game it is here. And the hero slots over here. So, you know, one of the best things about this is you can sort by any of these columns here, which is great. It gives you that control to see, you know, do you want a competitive group, an arcade group, some quick play. Obviously right now there is no competitive, you know, they're just doing competitive arcade, but I think competitive is going to open back up tomorrow if I'm not mistaken. So right now there is no true competitive gameplay available. But let's dive in a little bit more. Here are some filters that you can set. Again, quick play, competitive, arcade, if you want to play versus AI, or competitive elimination. You can set any of these restrictions here. If that group creator has set restrictions, you can choose whether or not you want to search for those or not. Whether or not you want voice chat, I think that's something I'm always going to have as yes. How many players, the endorsement level, we'll talk about endorsements again in a little bit more detail here in a few minutes. Minimum role slots, if you want to, you know, if you want to play support, you want to make sure they have at least 1 or 2 support slots. You know, also a lot of people like a specific team comp, you know, specific to support, 2 damage, and 2 tanks is pretty typical of what people like to play. So if you want to make sure there's at least 2 support slots in whatever team you're going to join, you can set it here. And then you can also say, hey, I don't want to see any groups unless they have a support slot or unless they have a tank slot, etc. Okay, so going back, let's look at the create tool. And again, you know, this information is what you're going to see reflected, or what other players rather are going to see reflected when you create a group. So again, here I can change the group title. I've seen a lot of players saying, hey, this is going to be a chill competitive group, you know. So you can really change it here to give players kind of an idea of the group you're looking to form. Okay, again, you got all your basic drop downs. What type of game are you looking for? Do you want voice chat? Yes. Do you want to enforce the roles that you're going to choose here? Yes or no. Can you invite other group members? Yes or no once you join in. And then here's where you're gonna pick what role you want them to play. So you can say all, or you can tank, support, damage, or you can disable that slot. So you can really set your team composition right here. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this all the way it is for now, just to show you over here the next screen. So as you can see, I chose all here. So basically my group looks like 6 flex players, if you will. So I'm going to take one of those slots, and then if I click create, that's going to start my group. Okay, now I don't want to do that for the purpose of this video, but did just want to kind of walk you through how that tool works. And again, here's a little bit more information. If you look right here, that plus minus 150, you can see plus minus 200. What that means is that that group creator is looking for players that are within 200 points of their current SR or 150 points of their current SR. So again, I've seen different ranges there. I've seen all the way up to 900. It just depends on that group creator and what their preferences are. But typically, I think it's best to try to stick to playing with people that are close to your SR. So I think 150, 200, maybe 300 points. That probably makes the most sense. Okay. Now I am going to go into my career profile here, and I just want to show you. Here's my current endorsement level. Now I only managed to play, I think, 2 games yesterday while under competitive before the season ended. So didn't really get to make a lot of progress there or have the opportunity to receive a lot of endorsements or not. But the 3 main ones are going to be for sportsmanship, for strategy or being a shot caller, and then for, just for being a good teammate. Okay. And those are each color coded. So you can see the purple and the green. So I've received an endorsement or 2 for being a good teammate and for being a good sportsman. But the orange is missing because nobody's endorsed me for being a strategist or a shot caller. And admittedly, that's something I need to work on, is being a little bit more vocal with, talking about our team comp and what types of characters that we need to make, to kind of build our team to be effective. Okay. So I love this endorsement system. I think when you combine it with that looking for group, what you're going to get is more players that are willing to communicate, to work as a team, to be flexible on their character selection, to be vocal and speak up about the team composition. All of that is going to bring people, these, individual gamers, they're going to bring them together and have them work as a team. This is, as I said before, this is a team game. You've got to have that cooperation, that flexibility. You really got to have that team play mindset to be successful in this game. It's great timing that all of this came out because, just a couple of days ago, I had a really poor play experience through almost an entire day where I was just continuously getting matched up with groups that, they weren't communicating. Nobody was on voice. Everybody just wanted to play the character they wanted to play. Nobody wanted to talk about team composition, work together. Nobody was doing call outs or communicating during the game. And, I had, about an 8 or 10 game losing streak. And you can see how it affected my SR here. I was up around 2,300, which is where I started the season. I think I started at 2,384, or maybe a little lower. But you can see my current is 2,057. So it really took a big hit. I think I went down a good probably 200 or more points just in that one day. And that can be pretty frustrating. I obviously don't consider myself to be a pro level player or anything like that, but I know that I'm a better player than that 2057. I know I should not be on the cusp of dropping back down to silver. That's absolutely ridiculous. I know I'm about a 23, maybe 2,500 SR player. That's where I belong. And so it's really frustrating to me to drop that much because, and I don't think it has to do with my gameplay. Consistently during these games, I was getting 3, sometimes 4 golds. I was trying to work together, act as a healer, but also do some damage. I was really trying to, be the best teammate that I could be. But since I was matched up with 5 other players that weren't communicating, that didn't want to be flexible on the team composition or character selection, it was inevitable. We were going to fail. And so each of those games, I just got increasingly more frustrated. So I'm really looking forward to this endorsement system and the looking for group system, hopefully addressing some of that. Another thing I wanted to show you too is, I don't know if you've noticed, but let's just go look at some of the recent players that I've played with. Let's look at QQQ here. And what you're going to see, career profile is private. So this is another big change that came through with this latest patch. You actually have to go and set your career profile to no longer be private. Now I can see my friends' career profiles. I think basically the way that it works is if you're friends with the person, the default is, yeah, you can see the profile. So here, I really love this game, Atreides, named after Paul Atreides from Dune, good old Muad'Dib, and I can see all of their stats because we are friends. So that's how it works now. If you're friends with somebody, you can see their profile by default. If you're not, it's going to be set as private. Another couple of changes here. I'm just going to go into the training here and go into, let's practice versus AI. No, let's do the practice range. Okay, all of your damage, offense and defense heroes are now under one big group called damage. So you can see, you know, there's Hanzo, Junkrat, Mei. These are defensive players. They used to be categorized as defense. Now they're just damage. Okay, you still have your tanks and you still got your supports over here, but that's the big change. Offensive, defense are now damage. Okay, so Symetra is one of the players that has had some major changes to her. So I just want to walk you through some of those real quick. So here's a big change. When I deploy a turret, as you can see, it shoots out, grabs onto the wall, and it's going to start attacking enemies right away. Okay, and there it goes. So got both of those training bots. So that's a major change. You know, you used to have to kind of look at a wall here. Now you can literally just shoot them across the map. There it goes, and it's basically going to attach wherever I want to put it. Okay. Another big change, I know that they have changed the rate at which her damage ramps up. So I think it's actually a little bit slower. You know, I think it takes 2 seconds now instead of 1 second to kind of ramp up her damage. As you can see, I'm still getting damage on those two bots down there because they keep respawning under my turrets. I'll put another turret down there. We'll just keep getting those free kills there. Another big change down in the lower right hand corner, you'll see that her ammunition has gone down to 70. So she's going to have to reload more often. Again, the damage ramp takes a little bit longer, but it is doubled. Okay, so it takes 2 seconds to ramp up from one level to the next rather than one, but you're now going to be doubling that damage as you ramp up. One of the other big changes to the turret, obviously we talked about shooting them out here, but now just keep in mind the maximum you can have deployed is 3. You can no longer have 6 deployed, and they each do more damage. So again, half the turrets, but doubling the damage there, which is pretty big. Another big change to her is as you're doing the alternate fire, you can see there, you may be able to tell, it also does some explosive damage. So it's not just regular damage, but you can see I'm not hitting that training bot and it's still taking damage from that explosive damage. So that's another big change there. Also, now the teleporter is no longer her ultimate. Okay, so I can put it down here, and now what I've got to do is actually use my interact key to teleport. I can't just walk through it any longer. So if you are gonna you know, whether you play Symetra or not, you need to bind that key, that interact key, to something else. For me, I just chose the G key. That was what was easy for me. And again, here you can see I can't just walk through it, right? I've got to hit G to interact. But you can go through it both ways. That's a pretty cool tool in my opinion. It's going to put one where you are standing by default, and it's going to let you place another one up there. So there's the one where I was standing, and then boom, here I am. Okay, so lots of changes to her. One more, and probably the biggest change that you're going to see, is the ultimate. So I hit Q here, and now I'm able to place this gigantic barrier. It's going to spawn across the entire map, as you can see. And the damage for this thing is absolutely insane. I want to say this is like 5,000 damage if I'm not mistaken. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it goes across the entire map. As you can see, it has a pretty decent duration as well. So major changes to Symetra. I will run through really quickly. There's a couple of changes to some other heroes as well. I know that they made a change to McCree, where basically they took his ultimate, and now Deadeye has an effective range more than doubled it. I think it was 70 meters before, and now it's all the way down, or all the way up rather, to 200 meters. So that's a pretty big change for McCree. They changed the movement speed for Doomfist when he's got his ultimate. They changed his movement speed. They increased it a little bit. They decreased the amount of time it takes for Orisa to get her ultimate, which is the supercharger. The feedback in the patch notes were that they just weren't being used as often as they would like. So, they decreased it. They want players to get more use out of that supercharger and use it a little bit more often. So those are just some of the character changes there. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of take everybody through what these changes were going to look like. I think more impactful than the changes to the characters are that looking for group system and the endorsement system. Overall, those are going to have a very big positive impact on playing the game and your interactions with other players. And I'm so excited. I think it's going to have a huge impact on the community, and it's going to have a major change on your satisfaction playing the game and whether or not you want to return. I think you're going to have a lot less frustrated, or a lot fewer frustrated players. Overall, it's going to be a much better team-based experience. I think you're going to see a lot of players that have left the game that are going to come back and give it another try just because of the looking for group and endorsement tool. It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's 100% a game changer. So stay tuned for some more Overwatch content. Obviously, once the competitive season opens back up, I'll probably do a video on my placement matches, and we'll see where I land. I predict it's probably going to be in that 2,300 to 2,400 range. That's typically where I land in my placement matches. So I'll get that video out within the next day or two as soon as it pops up. And other than that, just please leave a like. Leave some comments, give me some feedback. If there's something I'm doing that you don't like, give me some constructive feedback. I would really appreciate that. I definitely want to be putting out the best content that I can. I am a fairly new channel here. I've only been putting videos out for about a week or so. So I am working hard to increase the quality of my content. So I'd love to hear some of that feedback from you guys. But definitely leave a like or a dislike. And ultimately, the goal is to get you to subscribe so I can show you more and more videos moving forward. That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I see you in the next one.